Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European Minor Closed Qualifier. I'm Dean, this is Mitch, and we are going to have some very interesting games coming your way today. There's 16 teams, of course, who are going to be competing for those ace spots at the European Minor, and there's going to be some very fierce competition.
There absolutely is. We'll take a look at the brackets now in a second to show you what games are going to be going on today. It's going to be a long one, but we've got some guys to come in and relieve us a little bit later on. We're going to be taking you through two series. Starting off the day, we're going to be going with Windigo and ENCE Esports, but taking a look at the brackets overall. At the same time, Mouse Sports and XCOM, VP and Vitality, and LDLC and Valiance are going to be playing. And then a little bit later on, we'll be jumping down to the bottom part of the upper bracket, where Optic Mixtura, Fraxters Heroic, and Kingwin and X-Space Soldiers are going to be taking each other on. And of course, we'll be covering on the stream Sprout and North. It's going to be an interesting day. Two great best-of-3 series here on the A stream. Of course, those others are over on different streams, so if you do want to check those out, feel free to go ahead, pop on over and see what the action's like there. But to focus a little bit on this, you know, the top 8 teams will go through to the Katowice Minor, like you mentioned. They're going to fight for 2 major spots that are up for grabs there. And you know, there is a lower bracket. It's all best-of-3s, so there's no fear if a team loses here in the first stages. They'll be able to fight to still get into that minor a little bit later on. But for now, we're just going to focus on the upper, at least for today, to see who can make it right on through.
Yeah, and we are, of course, going to be starting things off, as you said, with Windigo against ENCE Esports. So that should be a pretty interesting game. I think it could be potentially a pretty close matchup. Of course, ENCE having just come back off the back of that DreamHack Winter win, where they had a pretty solid performance, taking down teams such as G2, Heroic, and, of course, finishing off Bravado in the finals. So they're definitely well warmed up coming into this one, you would say.
That's for sure. Windigo as well, looking okay recently. They have that SEC win. They've been doing pretty well over in the Pro League as well. Thing is, though, they kind of struggled towards the end of SEC, right? That series against B-Pro was really, really close, which we didn't expect. And the thing is, well, Windigo have got that new player coming in, Poison. He's been doing really well in Pro League. The question is, up against these stronger teams, the likes of ENCE here, with that recent kind of struggle at SEC, are they going to be able to step it up?
Yeah, that is definitely the question. I believe we do actually have the schedule to come up now, so you guys can see exactly what games are going to be covered and at what times throughout the day. As was said, of course, we will be covering the first 2 best-of-3s, but then we'll have Hawka and Tuldersmith hopping in to go ahead and take over for the remainder of EU. And then later on, of course, North America will have Tom Biz and Jason Kaplan, 2 very beautiful men, I would say.
Absolutely gorgeous. They helped me go shopping yesterday, find some new jeans. It was great.
You're looking less homeless, I do have to say that.
A little bit every day. That's the objective.
Yeah, just like improvement, small goals for yourself, Mitch.
And we were shopping, of course. Well, we were shopping in Krakow, but we're here in Katowice, beautiful city. Lots of snow outside. It looks beautiful. The drive up here was pretty spectacular. Going through some woodlands, snow everywhere, trees. I liked it.
But yeah, ENCE versus Windigo, as you said, Poison being the newest addition to that Windigo roster. I want to say he's a young player, but I believe he's 20, yeah. So we can't really say he's young, but I guess you can say he's a newer addition to this level of play, and he's going to be going up against some very experienced players, such as Alu, of course, who he's going to be actually contesting on that AWP. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how he actually does fare against a much more experienced operator than himself.
Yeah, well, he's already had a decent performance. I believe it was up against Hellraisers. They took down, I can't remember the first map, but I know it was 16-1 on another map for them. Very, very convincingly, you know, taking down Woxic. I think he only got like 11 kills in the series, and then everybody else in Hellraisers was dropping back a little bit further. That's towards the end of Pro League, though. You know, teams have already got their spots secured. We talked a little bit about this. You know, towards the end of Pro League, teams maybe stop trying as much as opposed to focus more on the bigger tournaments and don't really, you know, give away as little as you can about your strategies. I mean, you know, you see the likes of, I think it was Astralis on the last day, they were just using AUGs. Sure, AUG is a
viable weapon.
Yeah, it's a viable weapon for sure, but it's not what they usually go for. Not even an op coming out on Overpass where they usually like to deploy it. But yeah, looking at things, I mean, Poison versus Alu will be an interesting battle. I think that especially Windigo were a little bit disappointed in how they got on over at Bucharest Games Week, which was when they qualified for that by winning SEC, and then again the SEC final up against B-Pro was super close. So that could be a little bit worrying for them. Like Dust 2, a map that we could definitely see coming out in this series, is one where they really struggled against B-Pro. They got 3 rounds on the CT side when a full 15 were played. That was the first half. They came back into it towards the T side, but it wasn't enough. I mean, they'd given too much of a lead at that point, so it was 16-10. And with a performance like that, you got to wonder if that's what B-Pro can do to them, what are ENCE going to be able to do?
Yeah, I guess we can kind of talk about the fact, of course, that these two teams, at least with their cores, did play a couple of months back. Of course, Poison having come in since then kind of gives the gives a little bit more up presence on the map over towards Windigo. But we did see them play 3 maps that I think you and me are expecting potentially to come out today. We're looking kind of towards a Mirage, a Train, and then maybe a Dust 2 as a decider, and that's exactly what we've seen before. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see kind of a similar map pool. We aren't quite sure yet what we're going to see, but I would expect this to be a pretty close series.
Yeah, well, that was interesting, right? Because last night we were looking over the statistics, we were looking at their performances on each map, and kind of projecting what we thought the veto would look like. And so we came out with that, the Train and the Mirage, and then the Dust 2 as a decider. And then we looked at how at the series they'd played before, which was a best of 3, all 3 maps played, and it was a Train, a Mirage, and a Dust 2. So certainly backs up what we thought would happen. The thing is that these guys have played before. Maybe ENCE are going to be looking at how they're playing recently. I would be surprised if they don't put Dust 2 in there, just because of how Windigo performed on that previously up against B-Pro. The Train and the Mirage certainly could come out. I wonder if ENCE are going to have something maybe, or Windigo actually, because they'd be the underdogs, right? They'd be the ones coming into this to looking at ENCE going, we want to beat these guys. So maybe they will have done some counter prep for ENCE and have a map where maybe ENCE aren't going to be so comfortable, because you only get to ban that 1 map away. But talking about the maps, I mean, ENCE have such a strong map pool in general. It'll be kind of hard for Windigo to find a map where they're massively favored.
Yeah, that's the thing, really. These teams overall do seem to share a pretty similar map pool. Of course, we have Windigo. They don't really play Nuke. I'd imagine that they'll probably go ahead and get rid of that one. ENCE, not the biggest fan of Cash. That's one that they have only played a few times. They have a good win rate on it. It's just not one that they do tend to actually try and get in. It's one that they will usually remove early on. But as you said, yeah, of course, these teams, they have had a pretty long time to prepare this. The matchups have been known for a little while. So you would imagine that Windigo are going to be coming in well prepared, because they know that they're not going to come in thinking that they're heavy favorites or anything. They know that they are going to be underdogs. ENCE, of course, as we said, coming off the back of a massive win at DreamHack Winter, getting themselves a nice little confidence boost, I guess you could say, coming in towards this qualifier.
I think what's interesting as well, so we take a look at the maps that we said we would expect to come out, right? A Train, a Dust 2, a Mirage, those are maps where Poison usually does quite well on the AWP as well. So that's going to be a little bit different to the last time these two teams faced, where they had Bubble on the AWP instead. So now with that, I mean, just taking a look at that final, the one we said was really close against B-Pro, it was Poison that stepped it up, 34 kills on Train. Massive performance, what we expected, right? All those added sightlines. But then we come back to the point that we made earlier. We were taking a look at how these guys play, and Alu, with that more passive style, he's happy to hold an angle for a minute and wait for a peek, and Poison isn't so comfortable with patience. A lot of the time he gets very aggressive with the AWP. You see him, he's a very scattered out heat map because he likes to just explore different positions and see if he can catch anybody off guard. I think that's going to be maybe a bit of a problem when you've got the likes of Alu. All he has to do is wait, and eventually a Poison may peek into him. But again, that's going to be something Windigo probably know about ENCE, and perhaps they'll have some plans to counter that. I think the problem is, though, if you do want to really counter Alu, you gotta be using the smokes, the flashbangs, close down the distance, but then Poison's not really able to do his thing. So it is just going to be the battle of the ops, in my opinion, especially if we go to a map like Train, to see who can actually come out on top.
So if you were to highlight one player on either side right now, who would you actually be looking towards to kind of be the ones to lead the charge for the respective teams?
Well, I'll take Windigo for that one anyways. Definitely, It's got to be Poison. I mean, he's the highest rated player across these two teams over the last 3 months. Now, sure, Windigo in general, or rather, when he was playing for B-Pro, they were playing against much weaker opponents, so it's easier to get those higher statistics, right? But even still, we've seen his performance a couple of times. We've been watching Windigo recently, and he's just been so convincing. When he gets aggressive, it works out because he's got the aim to back it up. Over on ENCE, I'm not too sure who I'd aim towards. I suppose for this specific matchup, I'd probably go with Alu, just because I feel like if they can take Poison down, then that's massive impact taken away. And sure, Windigo have players like Ships, like Bubble, who are able to step it up when things get a little bit dire. I mean, we saw on Mirage, right, at SEC, at SEC, it was Ships that was playing on Mirage. The opponents were constantly taking the A-bomb side, but Ships was able to step it up with 3 or 4Ks from these kind of awkward positions, like the corner, down the bottom of the palace, Underwood. He was just catching them off guard consistently. So if you take Poison down, it's still not an easy victory, but I think that it'll go a long way for ENCE if they can take him out, because Windigo don't really have that consistent fragging potential, I suppose, once he's gone, to step it up. It's a player every round or so, but the majority of the time they do need Poison on that op to be fragging
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the different ends. When you have a look at their lineup, you don't really see any players who are kind of a weak link, I suppose, is one way to put it.
Yeah.
They have kind of everyone who can step it up. Of course, Sergei, a young player from Finland, of course, who was kind of for a good while hailed as like the up-and-coming star from that region, and eventually he took a little bit of a break and came back on this ENCE lineup, and since then has been doing a pretty good job. I believe he actually did get the MVP at DreamHack Winter. Another player I think that really is very important to this lineup is Ariel, in my opinion. He tends to be one who's kind of just holds it together. Great at finding those opening plays as well alongside Sergei, and then Alu, as we said, he's a little bit more passive on that. He plays a slightly more supportive role.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the thing, right? The passive AWP we talked about a little bit. That's what we expect to be a kind of thorn in the side for Windigo. And taking a look at their recent performances, if you exclude the LAN over in Bucharest, of the 2 LANs I suppose over in Bucharest, it was a 2-day event, but it was 2 separate events.
Wasn't a 2-day event, then, Mitch?
Well, you know, we were there for 2 days. You know, if you exclude that, they've had decent performances. You look at how they're performing in Pro League, and since they picked Poison up, that's one thing as well. The first week or two he was on the lineup in Pro League, he was doing all right. You know, he was clocking up a couple kills, just average performance. Then he got comfortable with this lineup, and that's when he started to frag up against the likes of Hellraisers, putting up dominant performances, like 30 kills in most matchups. When you look at a player performing like that against top-level teams, now, ENCE have had that strong performance as well at DreamHack. It's really hard to determine who is going to be coming out on top. I think the one thing ENCE have going for them is that they're going to be a little bit more comfortable regardless of how the veto goes. But if Windigo have got something planned, if they've got something up their sleeve for this, I mean, this is the event they're going to be focused on, right? If anything, over the last 2 to 3 months, this is where they're aiming. They want to be in the major. I mean, that would be such a massive leap forward. They missed out on the EPL finals by just 1 place, losing it out to G2, a team that they've beaten consistently as well. Just a thing, it's going to be a little bit demotivating. Still, $18,000 in the back pocket, and they secured themselves a Season 9 placement as well. So, you know, things could be worse. You could be relegated. Could be AGO.
Yeah, I think coming into this one that we should have a very good matchup. Windigo, especially when they do have the time to prepare, that's when they really do manage to show up. They have, we know, of course, that firepower overall. It's kind of, a lot of the time, the fundamentals that don't be amazing for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least that's what we were pointing towards back in Bucharest, because we did see them kind of making a lot of mistakes. But also something that I think Jason was kind of hinting towards, that it definitely seems like Windigo are one of the teams that either play down to their opponent or up to their opponent. So I think going into this matchup against ENCE, I think we should see a very strong performance from them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that's something that we didn't talk about yet, right? Windigo being the team that a lot of the time they found themselves in positive positions, they'd have man advantages, bomb plans, and then they'd go a little bit too aggressive and they'd lose a player, and then the retake would be mounted, and then they'd lose the round. And it was these kind of small mistakes, the aggressions, just when they weren't needed. I think at one point we saw them in a 5v3 pushing down Banana on Inferno and stuff like that. It's when you make those kind of decisions, that's when maps start to become a lot closer, and maybe you lose a map that you shouldn't. Thing is, though, like you said, playing down to their opponents in that situation. They were playing the aggressive game. They were trying to be that dominant force. Coming up against ENCE, I think they're going to have a lot more respect in their back pocket, because they know that these guys aren't the kind of team that they can just balls to the wall, just run out, try to get as many kills as they can. That's not how it works against a team like this, because they will punish you for it, especially with that more passive style from ENCE. You're unlikely to catch them stacking up towards A and not watching Banana or something like that. The vast majority of the time, if they are going to be, if they're not showing presence, they're in a default, and if you go aggressive, you'll be taken down. And that's the thing. I think that Windigo will see a different team than what we saw over in Bucharest, just because the level of opponents is much higher.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is if will ENCE actually be able to go ahead and keep themselves on a similar level to what they were able to find that DreamHack Winter, of course, because a lot of the time when you do start getting those wins, etc., that's when teams will begin to put a little bit more preparation into actually finding out how you play. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to fare. I believe we are still waiting on the map veto, so hopefully we will be able to find that soon. But I'm excited for this matchup.
I think that's one thing as well, right? You look at ENCE in this position, they kind of have a bounty on their head after the DreamHack Winter. I think another team's kind of bravado as well. They really took the world by storm there.
Even if you just look, for example, there was another case of that, I suppose, recently with LDLC after having a solid performance at IEM Chicago. They came off that, went to, what event did they go to afterwards? Where they ended up getting taken out in the group stage?
Can't remember.
I think it may have actually been DreamHack Winter. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's kind of once you show a solid performance and show that you are actually capable of putting up a good matchup against these top teams, that's when they'll actually begin to look into you, and that's when it becomes a lot more difficult. As it said, of course, it's always difficult to stay on top.
Well, that's it, right? One of the only teams that's managing it these days is Astralis, right? Just staying on top consistently, and that's just massive map pool, massive preparation to counter-strat every opponent that they could possibly
just
find.
A ridiculous roster as well,
and
of course.
An insane roster as well. Yeah, no shortage of individual skill there. I think that's going to be something that maybe ENCE have experienced a couple times, right? Because there's always that easy for ENCE kind of thing. They come up every now and then, they destroy some high-level opponents, and then they kind of fade back again. They start getting beaten. And I think that's something they've struggled with so far, is when teams start to put in the preparation and start to say, let's beat these guys. These guys are good. Put a week of prep in, then ENCE going to fall apart a little bit. So I don't know how, when we move on to this matchup, if Windigo have got that level of preparation, this is the kind of event where you could see ENCE struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they themselves, though, of course, will be able to actually step it up. They have a very experienced lineup, Alu, and then the likes of Alexei B, Ariel, and X7 have been playing for a while, even if it hasn't been quite on this level. And then really it's just Sergei, who I guess would be kind of one of those younger players who maybe could be affected, but it definitely doesn't seem to be the case with what we've seen from him so far. But it looks like we are ready to get into the game. It seems like we are going to be starting things off on Inferno. X7 looking to try and find the opening kill as he peeks in towards Banana, and actually does manage to find one. As we can see with a flank coming in now, they are going to be just pinned in towards this position. A little bit of trouble for Windigo is going to arise, but they have up to this point at least found trades.
So far, and the bomb yet to be planted. With low HP on Bubble and Ships, that things could get a little bit difficult for these guys. And see, Alexei B has already spotted them out on the A-bomb side, so the rotations begin. Banana being pushed down on Ships is getting hit down pretty low now. Only on that 17 HP. Whoa! That's a nice shot onto Alexei B. Keeps them alive for a little bit longer, but again, ENCE have that 2 versus 2. They've got the USPs and low HP on Bubble.
Yeah, no Defuse kit currently in their possession, of course, which means this retake is going to be difficult. They're going to be working against the time as they begin to push in. It's all on the X7 now. Going to find himself one more headshot, but he has to try and push up into apartments and force the issue against Poison. And it's not going to be allowed. Up close with that P250. Poison is going to be able to close things out, and it is Windigo to go ahead and pick up that opening pistol round.
So Dean, I guess we can talk a little bit about the veto. So it went down a little bit quicker than we expected. Didn't get to have a chat before the game.
Yeah.
Windigo take out Nuke, ENCE take out Cash. Exactly what we expected. Windigo pick Inferno. That's an interesting one. So Mirage doesn't come out as ENCE pick Train. So it's Inferno, Train, and then D2 as the decider. A little bit different than what we thought with Inferno instead of Mirage. Now this should be interesting. Inferno, a map that, in general, looks pretty good for Windigo. We saw them with good performances here. One of the things they struggled with was the aggressive plays on their CT side. But now they're on their T, so this is where they can clock up a lot of rounds if ENCE give them the room to do so.
I like this stack on B. Just gone ahead and taking a bit of a gamble. We could see, of course, they were kind of stacked in the pit, but I believe Ships was able to spot out at least 2 or 3 of those players. Finding some info they can allow for Viktor. Maybe they just try and build up economy on that Mach 10. And that's exactly what's going to be happening. And as they try and push forward, they are just going to be mowed down. A good job so far from Viktor. Against those Kevlarless opponents, you do pretty much expect them to have an easy time. But the goal for ENCE coming into this round would have been to at least try and find a couple of kills, make it a costly one, try and drop some of those weapons, and that doesn't seem to be the case. As I was going to say, maybe X7 had a small chance, but he is going to be finished off by Poison. 2-0 for Windigo, but we are now, of course, going to see ENCE been able to pull out that buy.
Yes, indeedy, thanks to the economy system. Let's leave it at that. We don't need to say the new economy system anymore, Dean. I think it's been long enough. But the buy isn't actually as strong as we thought. See, Alexei B and X7 take out the FAMASs so that they can get the full utility. I like that, especially on Inferno. Utility is really, really needed. Coming over towards Banana, it's a very heavy stack from ENCE. This is a big play. Windigo come in, they're not even finding the kills. We'll talk a bit about this afterwards because look at all the frags going down. They line up for Alu, he's able to get some damage. They don't expect X7 to be up close. But still, they find the frags. Somehow, it's into a 2 versus 1. That was interesting because I felt like ENCE stacking up there. Once Windigo find 1 or 2 kills, they think, okay, it's clear. No problem. Problem was, when they run in, there's a USP out because there's no ammo left in the FAMAS. It's a little bit awkward as ENCE lose so many players just lining up.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward, but in the end it does work out, leaving it all onto Aerial, of course, who's now going to be looking to try and push in and clutch out this 1-on-2. But again, he doesn't currently have a Defuse kit. I don't believe that any were purchased up either, meaning it is going to have to be a pretty quick retake if he wants to make it even possible. And I think with another smoke going down, there's not really much choice for him. He's just going to have to try and back off and save this M4 over, so that they do at least have something to work with in this upcoming round, as Windigo go ahead and get themselves off to a very quick 3-0. As we said, 4 players over toward the Banana, and ENCE weren't able to hold it down. They found, I believe it was a couple of kills initially, and then X7 able to find that one with the USP. Of course, he was very patient as well. That is something we have to point out on the trigger, but it just didn't work out. If he had still had some ammo in the FAMAS, that likely would have been pretty much a free triple spray down, because they lined up for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and they weren't looking at him. It would have been just so easy. So unfortunate that he didn't have any of the ammunition left. He was pushed out of position as well by the Molotov. He was trying to stay back at sandbags. ENCE try something new and it doesn't work, and with now a pretty poor economy, they're going to take out an Eco, 1 M4. Of course, that they saved over. They've got the 2 CZs, 2 Deagles as well, holding over towards Banana. Going to be Alexei B and X7, trying to let them get over towards the bomb site so that they can get those Deags out. X7 sitting on the coffins ready for that, but it's Aerial to open things up on the M4. Just about makes it away before being dropped down. He's 33 HP, so things do get a little bit risky, but with Windigo having that opening kill now in the bag, and they know where the M4 is, they can easily angle over towards B.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going to be doing so. Ships is just about beginning to creep in towards this bomb site, and Alexei, I was going to say it was Alexei B, but it is actually, I believe, X7 over on that B bomb site. This is a little bit awkward. Sure, Ships has been able to creep in, but he doesn't have his teammates with him. You can see, of course, the bomb is all the way back in spawn. It's a 2-on-4, and this is really beginning to become an issue here. Although Alexei B could potentially be caught off guard as he looks to try and push forward. Let's see if that's going to be the case. He is being cautious for now. At least Ships just waiting and hoping maybe that some mistakes will be made from the pounce on, and he is going to now finally begin to push forward. Takes down X7. But as he spins around, he won't be quite quick enough on the trigger to go ahead and take down a second, leaving it all into the hands of Viktor now to try and clutch out the 1-on-3 and save the day, as it's looking very awkward indeed. Completely surrounded. There's just too many angles for him to try and deal with. Getting the bomb planted is going to be nigh impossible.
And got to get those frags before he does so, but Sergei's ready for him, pushing around behind, finds the headshot, 16 seconds. And now making his way over towards the coffin's going to go for the bomb plant. Oh, he knows that Alexei B is going to be up close. If he can get this kill quickly, he'll be able to get that bomb planted. There it is. Now 6 seconds on the clock. Going in for its risky. Aerial probably just going to push on through. He knows that though. Oh, and he doesn't get the kill. With only 18 HP, Aerial pulls it off and finds a round for ENCE. Not one that was looking likely. Only the 1 M4 coming into it. But that's what they needed.
Yeah, able to make it work. Aerial got the opening kill, of course, kind of just chilled back after that and let his teammates get the work done with those pistols, and it does end up going in their favor. Windigo are going to be able to buy again, at least, due to having a pretty easy time in those previous rounds, been able to build up some economy, but they've invested pretty much everything now into this round. If they do lose this one, ENCE would successfully force them down to the eco and would instantly put themselves in a position to begin to build up some momentum and economy themselves over on this CT side. Looks like it may be a little bit of a slower approach this time around from Windigo, at least in terms of Banana. They're not going to be going for that immediate control like we've seen in the previous round. This time instead going to be putting some focus in towards the apartments, and as we can see, Poison setting up the smoke, I believe, for Moto. So they may actually be looking for a bit of a quick execute onto this A-bomb site, attempting to perhaps try and pile out of the balcony. And let's see if this is going to be held down, because Aerial is playing a very aggressive position, but he does actually manage to spot the legs as they come out of the smoke. A quick double kill to be found. And as Bubble tries to follow it up, he also will suffer a similar fate to his teammates. Aerial is just holding this all alone. Doesn't need any help at all. He has the 4K already. It's only Ships now who's alive for Windigo. And he's left wondering what has happened to all of his teammates.
3 rounds for Windigo. 1 round. Oh, well, 2 rounds at this point for Aerial. He's the one doing all this damage. 4 kills on the board. This is not looking all too good, as Windigo won't have the money to get the buy in the next round, and without a bomb plant, even the buy round after will be suffering a little bit for utility. Ships has managed to find one onto Sergei at least, but from here on it becomes quite difficult to find any real impact.
I don't know if that smoke was exactly what he was intending. I'm going to imagine he was trying to get that out onto the balcony so that he could push forward, but even then without a smoke, that's very difficult to really do much from, so yeah, not really too much that Ships can actually find right now. I was going to say maybe just consider saving this one, but he is just going to go forward. I guess doesn't want to have a mismatched economy with his teammates, so he's going to see if he can maybe get in a couple of kills. But as the flash is thrown in, he is going to be taken down by X7. second round found for ENCE, and as I said, of course, now Windigo are going to have to go ahead and actually take this eco. Some upgraded pistols. You can see a few P250s being pulled out, at least, so they have the opportunity to try and find some kills with those, maybe drop a couple of rifles. But we would imagine that ENCE will have an easy time here and going ahead and actually equalizing the scoreline at 3-3.
You could say easy for ENCE.
You could. I wasn't going to, but you did.
Well, there you go. But look, yeah, ENCE should have a pretty easy round here. They've got the utility, they've got the weapons. Windigo going to try to make it costly so that they can face off against a weaker buy a little bit later on. You can see them sitting down towards the T-spawn very, very passively indeed. Waiting for some pushes. The smokes are down on mid. Smokes on banana as well. Not going to be doing anything just yet. ENCE, though, not that aggressive team. They're not going to be going hunting for the kills. They have a read on the economy at this point. They know that Windigo don't have the money to take out any rifles. And so they're just going to wait. Let that clock run on down.
Yeah, that is the case. I guess Windigo are also perhaps using this as a little bit of a time to talk, of course, what they're gonna do in this upcoming gun round. And actually, as they do group up on banana, X7 I was gonna say maybe could get caught off guard, but he was playing a passive position. The second he spots out info is just gonna keep falling back from corner to corner and drops that smoke to ensure that the push isn't gonna come in while he's all alone. Already the rotation coming into place. He has the assistance now of Alu and Alexei B. Although Alu has made his way back around, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. But actually, a very useful boost going to come in. Ship's able to find the opening kill out to X7. Spots out Alexei B and does some damage as well. Suddenly it is a man advantage for Windigo, but with not a lot of time, they're actually going to decide to try and route this back over towards that A bomb site.
They can actually get this as well. Sergei's going to be late coming around. Ariel's going to be isolated on the... Well, maybe not, because Sergei actually does manage to catch them off pushing in. Ariel got the crossfire now, and it's a sweep up. Oh, maybe not, because Sergei runs out of ammo. He's got the USP out, and now the bomb plant will go down as Poison distracts. Just about. And that's bonus money found for Windigo. 3 kills on the board. That's a great round for the investment they put into it.
Yeah, they, I believe, only purchased up around 3 or so P250s, able to actually get 3 kills and a bomb plant. They're going to be extremely happy with that. It's a small victory for sure. They will not have any complaints at all. And you can see, of course, just going to be seeing if they could actually retrieve any utility that was dropped on the ground. Not too much to be found. One Molotov in the hands of Alu, but the defuse comes in easily. It is going to be now 3-3. But Windigo, they're going to get the buy into this one. It'll be interesting to see whether they decide to get the op out. I was going to say, because Inferno is a map, especially on the T side, where it's very difficult to get that op working. And you can see because of that, Poison has decided to just stick on towards the AK.
Yeah, it's not all too surprising. He is that aggressive style of opper, but on a map like Train, sure, we're going to expect to see him coming out with the AVPs, but not necessarily here on Inferno, like you said. Making their way up banana very early on, and this is why, you know, they want to go straight in with the aggro plays. The utility being used, though, to just hold them back for now. Molotov's nades going down. That's a very effective nade, actually. Blocker. And Viktor lit down very low. I like that, you know, use the Molotov, keep them back there. Now, you know, they're probably waiting around that molly for it to dissipate, drop in a nade, and another Molotov stops them from pushing forward and does the damage. And now they're in a pretty advantageous situation. As Windigo go in, already lit up pretty heavily. X7 going to be holding down close, and he finds himself one. Looking for even more, just peeking out one at a time. All the kills were going the way of ENCE until Blocker and Ship stepped it up. That was a little bit risky through the smoke there. The spam gets the bomb planter, but not before he gets the bomb down.
Yeah, that being planted at least does give a slightly better chance for Windigo, but as we can see, Bubble and Blocker are both just barely hanging on to life at this point. It's not going to be easy for them at all. Bubble in a decent position, I suppose, but he is going to have to try and assist his teammate as the push comes in. Molotov to try and delay at least a couple of seconds and give them a bit of an extra chance to try and actually hold this off. But a great nade from Ariel to go ahead and take down Blocker means Bubble now, he's all alone. He's smoked off on banana, may go for a little bit of a spray through, but the second he does that, the tracers will be spotted, and it's Ariel to the smoke to go ahead and finish him off. And to go ahead and take themselves the lead at 4-3.
And this being Windigo's map pick, you do want to see them coming out with a good T side early on. It always helps out. So far, only those 3 rounds on the board. And winning at the pistol, you know, it's all about the buy rounds at this point. That's where we need to see Windigo thriving, because that pistol can be very up in the air. Both of these teams are pretty evenly matched in terms of pistol round history anyways. Bubble actually taking himself the opening. It's traded back. Sergei's so aggressive there in middle. Got the backup of Alu, who trades him out eventually, but still into a 3v3. That's Windigo in a favored position.
Yeah, you would say so, especially actually as Viktor is going to be able to take one more kill onto Alu. I think he was still looking to try and get aggressive up in the apartments, ends up getting taken down. And Windigo, for the first time in quite a while, are going to be sitting in a favored position. Question is, where are they going to try and take it towards? There's one player towards either bomb site, so no matter where they take it, they are going to have an advantage in terms of the manpower. And it looks like it is going to be X7 over towards Banana to be challenged, but he gets aggressive. The timing is perfect, at least initially, to find the kill on the ships. But as he looks to try and fall back into safety, he will be dropped by Viktor, rather. And with that now, it's left all onto Alexei B. Has a bit of utility with a Molotov and a nade in play. Has the Defuse kit also to work with. But two completely healthy players means it's not going to be easy for him at all as he looks to try and push his way in. But they're not actually going to be watching this push in. Instead, playing a little bit more passively, holding that crossfire in towards the dark position and the quad boxes. And let's see if Alexei B is going to be able to force the one-on-ones. And it's not going to happen. Instantly going to be taken down. Bubble is the one to find it. But either way, even if he found that one on the bubble, it's likely Viktor would have had a pretty easy trade kill.
Yeah, that's the benefit of that kind of setup. With no utility, no Molotovs there to flush them out of position, you've pretty much lost before it's even started. And unless there's a massive misplay from Windigo at that point. With the round secured for Windigo, ENCE need to decide whether they want to go for a buy or not. And it looks like they've decided, hell, why not? As Alu picks up an AWP. And on a map like Inferno, you know, having two players down on the weaker weapons isn't necessarily a bad thing. Hell, we can even see the likes of a CZ being massively impactful towards Banana, apartments, even just holding down aggro on short or long on A. Like, there's so many, I mean, pretty much all the angles are close range.
Especially when you have utility, that's when it's most important. If you can save that utility to the late round, run down the time, and force them to come through smokes, Molotovs, etc., that's really when the weaker weapons can shine through. As we can see, though, it's not terrible. They have an op, a couple of M4s, a Deeg, and an MP9. And utility-wise, it is pretty solid. They have 5 smokes, a couple of Molotovs, a good few flashes as well to give them the chances. And as you can see, of course, they do also have Alu. He's going to go ahead and open things up already. It's Ships who gets taken down early on. Again, Windigo with their early approach towards Banana, but it doesn't work out all that well. But just as I say that, though, Alexei B is going to get aggressive. He gets flashed in so he can try and get up close with that MP9. I was going to say it definitely could have been dangerous, but he does just put that smoke down to go ahead and keep his opponents at bay for the moment.
Oh, Windigo going to be stacking up very, very slowly indeed. They've given a ball control of the rest of the map, so it's kind of going to be an A push at this point because ENCE could have that full control of B. Alu's starting the rotation though. Suspecting that it's perhaps a fake. They're going to find out pretty soon that it's not. Lots of utility going over. Aerial's not able to do anything. Neither Sergei, they're full blind. But the kills don't come in from Windigo. Now they're not blind anymore, able to pick up at least one. As Aerial towards the pit, hiding inside the smoke. They have an idea that he's here though. Spamming in through, eventually going to be found. And it's into a 3v3. Now the retake from ENCE. Sees them with a Deagle, an MP9, and an op. They've lost both of the M4s that they bought up. They were stacking towards the A-bomb site, but not able to find the kills. Now things become very difficult. Although Alexei B gets the damage done onto Poison, it's all on Alu, really. He's got to find these picks with peaks over the smoke, and with his head taken off, X7's just going to save over that AWP. No point in trying to go for that 1v3.
Yeah, but it's not very possible. The risk-reward just wouldn't be worthwhile. The time already running down, of course, and without a Defuse kit. Saving that up is definitely the better idea, but as you can see, Windigo do want to try and hunt them down. Going to be already Bubble getting up close over towards Banana. The Deeg to be pulled out is actually what is going to shut him down from X7. And with that now, he may just about be allowed to actually save this up. As we can see, the remaining 2 players are still looking to try and hunt it down, which is interesting because Windigo themselves don't have a lot of money, but then again, they know that they have managed to keep the economy events quite low. It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to find it. X7 will save it over. I'd imagine he's going to go ahead and drop it back to Alu. But coming into this round, they don't have the money to afford to get the full buy-in. Just going to have to go ahead and likely take an eco and really just have that op to try and lead the charge and see if anything can actually be done in this round.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult enough one for ENCE to work around. We've seen them win a round like this before with the M4 in play, but they had a couple more upgraded pistols at that point, and X7's already been taken down by the nades. A good read by Windigo. They're pushing up close, though. The pistol's in play. Alexei B taken down, but there's lots more inside the Molotov. Ships burns Alexei B alive. And it's all on Aerial. That's a nice read. I like how Windigo have the idea that, look, ENCE have got an AWP. They probably won't have all too much more alongside it, so they'll probably go for the aggressive peaks. It's either mid or banana, so let's nade banana and see what we can get done. And with X7 taken down early on, it was an easy guaranteed win for Windigo. 6-4 now. ENCE able to get the full buy though. So the question is, do they want to just take up the M4s? They won't have an op to back it up, and we've seen Alu getting so many op kills so far, but it is just going to be the M4s, unfortunately. You have to adapt their playstyle a little bit. They won't be finding that easy opening pick anyways.
Yeah, utility-wise, it's also not amazing. They have the smokes, but other than that, going to be lacking a small amount. And again, Windigo just going to charge straight up banana. This is a position they have been exploiting so far in this game, and ENCE haven't really had an answer to it. But let's see if it's going to be different this time around. X7 finds one before being traded. Alexei B pushes in. ENCE have actually taken quite a lot of damage from that Molotov, but with one of his own to be placed down, he is able to keep Windigo a little bit more passive back on banana. They don't give quite up to top control as of yet. But just as I said, of course, that's when they flash in. They're going to go ahead and find themselves pretty much all that banana control. And with that, the ability to try and push into the B bomb site, which it looks like they may just do so. They are going to be creeping in, seeing if they can play off the contact. It ships to try and lead the way. Alexei B at the quad box. There is assistance in towards CT, but with the smoke being down, I was going to say there's probably not much that Sergei can do unless you go ahead and push in like Ships did. Bubble is going to be the next victim, and with that, it is just going to be shut down. A nice hold this time around for ENCE, only losing one player, and that was, of course, the first pick, I believe, that was picked up in the entire round by Windigo. So from then, a great recovery came in from ENCE.
Indeed, putting themselves in a nice position economically anyways, not losing too many players. If they can win just one more, they'll face off against a very weak Windigo economy, and that will boost their economy even further. So this is an opportunity to get themselves ahead and to close out this half, potentially even to that 9-6 scoreline. And Alu starts it off very well. Again, it's that off pick, the opening free kill. He backs off. Completely safe, or at least you would hope. The push comes in through the smoke. Now he's in a little bit of danger because Blocker's up close and he's already taken him down. But hold on, Ariel's still alive and making that magic work yet again with a 2k on short. He shuts down the aggression. Ships was trying to come behind them on B, but turns out it's not behind them because this whole team are dead. They're not able to distract anymore and allow him to come in for the flank. He's trying to find a rifle somewhere.
I don't know if there's any all that near to him. There should have been some out on mid itself. I believe that's where there was an AK dropped, but it's not really going to be retrievable. And sadly, as he makes his way back towards banana, he will be spotted out. It's Ariel with a 3k. He's getting himself a very strong start in this game, I believe, currently sitting at 13-6. Yeah, we can see that there, of course, on the scoreboard. He is having a strong start. He had that 4k on the first gun round, of course, that pulled him into it as well. There we go, Windigo, once again, just going to be forced back down to the eco. They get 3 nades, perhaps expecting some aggression to come in. Going to see if they can go ahead and counteract that, but other than that, not really too much to work with. A couple of upgraded digs, and this is where ENCE really do need to start having themselves a bit of an easier time, I was going to say, to try and build up some economy for themselves, and that's not going to be the case. Alu tried to get an aggressive peek early on, and those nades do end up actually taking him down.
Yeah, Windigo know at this point that Alu's kind of that central CT player. He's looking for those opening kills and putting ENCE into such a strong position again and again. How's Alexei B done that? He's just found 2 kills and put them into a 3 versus 2. Now things are looking a little bit worse for Ware over on that Windigo side. They're split up. The kill goes down eventually on the Ships. That got a little bit awkward. And now it's all on Poison. He's got an MP9. Although it should have been an easier round for ENCE. It started off well for Windigo, but just fell apart straight afterwards. And now with Poison pushing on up, I believe there should be an op there from the tank, but he's going to push through the smoke. Spotted out. That's cheeky. Alexei B behind the smoke. The radar gives it away as the smoke starts to dissipate, but not able to find the kill. Poison gets a bomb plant. That's huge for his team. Economy secured, an AK in hand, and he doesn't take down Sergei, which means, of course, the defuse will come through. It's another round for ENCE, but it's certainly not an easy one as they lose 3 players in the process. And that's perfect from Windigo. They boost their economy with a bomb plant, and they stop ENCE's from getting too far out of control. Problem is, there's not that many rounds left. Only 2 left to be played, and so ENCE will pretty much be able to get a bye on most players anyways for the rest of the half.
Yeah, going to be a little bit lower if they go for the investment here, having to get out utility, of course. You can see the rifles being bought up onto the 2 players that they did lose also, so their money wouldn't be great if they were to lose this one, so ideally ENCE do need to try and bring themselves up to that 9-6 scoreline. Let's see if that's going to be the case, because Windigo again, back on the buy, looking as always it seems to try and get that banana control. This time around, though, not quite as aggressive. Going to be taking their time a little bit more, waiting perhaps to see if it's ENCE who tried to push forward, because, as I said, Banana is a position that has been heavily exploited thus far. Definitely somewhere we may see ENCE trying to counteract that, and that's what's going to be happening. Ships was able to find that opening kill, but being flashed in, Alexei B with one of his own. But a Molotov being placed down as well actually cuts him off from being able to fall back, so a very well-placed incendiary there coming in from Windigo.
I'm starting to feel a little bit shaky now about ENCE. Only one player towards A. Thing is, that's aerial. And as Windigo start to set up for a bit of a take there, Poison setting up the smoke. That's going to block off vision from long. As the rest of Windigo stack up towards apartments, they're going to push on out. Here's Aerial in position, ready to take them down. Finds one. Spray down not there, though. And again, man advantage maintained for Windigo. They found control of the A bomb site. They've got Poison in an aggressive position. Nobody's going to be able to trade him if it's peaked. But the thing is, he might just catch them off guard. We talked about this before. Poison's a very aggressive player. Alu goes in for the peak, but he loses his head in a very, very bad way, as it's only Sergei left 1v3. And considering the economy that he himself will have in the next round, indeed, it is definitely worth going for that save. X7 will be suffering a little bit for money. Everybody else should be able to get a reasonable enough buyout. But Windigo have secured themselves a 7th round, and so already they're looking pretty decent.
Yeah, no matter what happens there, even if ENCE do manage to find that 8th round, Windigo are going to be pretty happy with being able to put up 7 on the board. And as I said, the money isn't going to be actually great coming into this next round for ENCE. They will be able to just about scrape out a buy onto the majority of players. Alu able to get the op again. I think it's just really going to be X7 who can't afford that full buy, and I would imagine he maybe will be dropped over an SNG or something of the likes, and that is what's going to happen there. Sergei dropping that over. Alexei B actually going to sacrifice down to the MP9 as well, as it is a okay buy, I suppose, really is the only way we can put it. Again, they don't have a lot of utility, and that's something that they have been lacking, which hasn't really allowed for them to try and actually take that banana control for themselves.
I like these defined roles as well. It's been Alexei and X7 taking the nades again and again with the weaker weaponry. Oh, that's a cheeky peek from X7. The flashbang didn't quite work out. As Ships finds a double, things start to look pretty bad for ENCE. They've already lost their players. Sergei finds himself one. There's a second as well on the board. Things could have looked better, but Windigo again just come in with those double kills, and there's nothing you can really do at that point. 1 versus 3. It's got to be a massive play from Aerial. He's done it before, but not this time. And so that is going to be 8-7 as Windigo find themselves a win in the half. They've got the lead coming over to the second half, where they'll start out yet another pistol round. As far as I remember, their pistol round in general on the CT side on Inferno has been pretty strong, but that can always change. All it takes is one Glock rush and things fall apart. This, of course, not live. In case you're wondering how, X7's got himself an AK-47 in the pistol round. That would be cheating.
I believe it does tend to be the CT side where Windigo are a little bit stronger here on Inferno as well, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
It is, of course, a CT-sided map, but in general, they tend to pick up a few more of those rounds over on the CT side. So this is a great start, really. It's the only way you can put it. They did pick up the pistol, so we kind of expected them to build up at least some rounds on that T side after we've seen it. But being able to bring it up to 8 and actually getting themselves in a position where they have even somewhat of a lead heading into the second half, it means even if they do lose the pistol, they won't really be in a troublesome position. If they do manage to pick it up, that's when things could really get scary for ENCE. We'd see Windigo then building up the momentum, the confidence would get rolling, and we've seen what they can do when they are all on form.
We have indeed. One other thing is Alu here on the AWP will be less impactful than he has been, I would imagine, throughout the majority of this half. No longer as feasible to take that out, although he's not been doing all too fly, I suppose, overall.
Hasn't really had the chance, I suppose, is one thing, because of course the economy was never really great. There was the early points, I suppose, of their CT side where he was able to pull out the op, and we've seen him having a decent amount of impact, but as they got in towards the latter end of it, he wasn't really able to pull that out, mostly being stuck on towards the rifle. So it'll be interesting to see. Alu, he doesn't usually mind, I don't think, picking up the op on the T side of Inferno, but then again, we said he prefers kind of that passive play style normally, and it's when you have to push into the bomb sites that the op really can become an issue.
Viktor there doing a bit of bunny hopping around, showing us what good movement's all about. He's a man of few words, Dean. Man of one word.
Oh, yeah. Back at ESL LCC, he said he had one word about what was going to happen in the game against B-Pro. He said, "We will crush them."
Quite quickly pointed out to him that that's 4 words.
Yeah, probably meant one sentence. We understand what he meant.
It's okay. There were some awkward translation interviews over at Bucharest, but let's put those behind us. Now, sadly, we won't have any interviews after the game. Players are far, far away.
Yeah, they're not in the Shrek world. They are just playing online, so probably at home. But yeah, it is going to be, of course, now the second pistol round going live. Windigo going to pick up a Defuse kit on the bubble alongside a couple of flashes. And then over on ENCE, it is X7 and Alexei to get utility. And actually, they're going to be finding some aggression as Windigo decide to push forward. Aggressive both in the apartments and straight down middle. And everything is going to be going in their favor. The USP is just clean up with the headshots. And ENCE only been able to find a single kill before the entire round is over and done with. One of the quickest pistol rounds I've seen in quite a while, I must say. It's good to see that from Windigo, though. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted them to come in with a confidence.
And absolutely we did. And starting out their CT side with the advantage, considering that they're usually better on that CT side, things are getting scary, Dean. We need to see ENCE step it up, and it's not going to be this round. I mean, they've got 5 Glocks in play. Hopefully that's not a bit of caster curse there, but it's not going to be this round. It shouldn't be this round. Let's put it that way. And Nate's going to deal some serious damage to Sergei. He's on 16 HP.
Look at this even from Windigo. The fact that they're willing to take this aggressive banana control. This is something that was a problem for ENCE because they were getting that completely exploited throughout their entire CT side. A lot of SMGs in play, though, for Windigo. So it gives them the chance, at least in this round, to try and build up the economy. But the problem is, of course, with the... Again, I don't want to say new economy because it's been here for quite a few months, but we will see ENCE being able to get that buy in the next round, and it will likely be all AK-47s, meaning if Windigo aren't going to upgrade from these SMGs, they are going to be going into it with a bit of a weaker investment. For now, it's a fairly easy time. Only 1 kill so far to be found by Alexei B as he takes down Blocker, and eventually X7 to be spotted out and finished off as well, as it is double digits to be found for Windigo.
Takes down Blocker with a Glocker. I think one of the problems here for... one of the problems in general when I see that buy, alarm bells start going off because, of course, you're coming in with 4 SMGs. Well, if you survive with all players, you have 4 SMGs into the next round. Now, you can play it as a bonus round, but on most maps, that's not very viable. The thing is, right here in Inferno, I mean, we talked about it before, all those close range angles for the CT side. You know, no matter where you go towards, if you want to take A or B, short, long, whatever, you're going to have to face off against close range angles. But anyway, Sergei's taking the open onto Blocker there in a bit of off-screen action. That was over towards Bananas. Windigo tried to get a little bit aggressive there. Now, they've got the smokes available. They dropped them towards the bottom of Banana to allow the more aggressive control to go in, or at least to allude towards a more aggressive bottom Banana control. I like this because they've still got another smoke on Viktor, who's waiting to deploy that. And this is just going to run that clock down for ENCE if they do want to go towards B. Now, the thing is, they should know that there's a lot of SMGs still in play, so I would be surprised if they don't favor the A bomb site, even with that opening pick on B.
Yeah, normally when you have this kind of setup where you leave that one player on B, it'll be the Opper, I guess, who kind of goes for that info by jump peeking, instead leaving Viktor. With a UMP, there's not really too much that he can do. As soon as he spots out a player, he is just forced to fall back off. Some extra damage actually being connected into the smoke there from Sergei.
I think the whole thing with Viktor there, though, is that he's just trying to delay them, spot them out, and deploy the utility as effectively as possible. He's still got a smoke left. That's an important factor here, because he can delay them with that smoke, and then the Molotov. If they do decide to angle towards B with 30 seconds left on the clock, even if they go now, Viktor can delay them for a long time. He knows that, so he's left alone on B. They're going to stack up on A and hope that they rotate over. That's exactly what happens as Viktor uses all his utility. Now ENCE detect that there's a heavy B presence, but they're incorrect on that. 3 players on A, and they're about to run right into the bear trap.
Yeah, walking into the stack, this could be difficult, but they're making it work so far. X7 and Ariel are going to be able to combine to find the majority of the kills, leaving everything into the hands of Viktor with a UMP. Finds himself 1 kill, but as he peeks around onto mid, Sergei's going to be there to go ahead and finish him off. It's an 8th round to be found for ENCE, but as we can see, I was going to say the economy should be good enough for Windigo to get a buyout, but Poison, he's down to 1450. He's actually in double eco territory, meaning into this next round, no matter what, he's not going to be able to buy, even if the rest of his teammates can. So it'll be interesting to see what Windigo actually do decide to go for. Match being paused, of course. I would imagine this is a tactical pause coming in from Windigo. They don't want to allow for ENCE to get themselves right back into this game. But into this one, they probably are just going to have to go ahead and take that eco.
I think that's one of the problems, right, with the new economy system, just in general. If you're not going to be sitting on a... so when you come into the second round after winning the pistol, if you lose more than one player, you're pretty... Even one is pretty impactful, because then when you get reset, you have a player like Poison on 1450. Thing is, though, if you lose more than one, then you're in a position like this. You're going to go into a round with a CZ, an MP9, and a FAMAS. Like, Windigo have won out the majority of these rounds so far, and look at the economy they're on after just losing one round. That's the thing with the new economy system. It really punishes you for losing players in that second round, and Windigo going aggressive up against the Pistols lost quite a few. More than they could manage. Now, at least it is Inferno, so it's a map that's going to allow them to hold down relatively effectively with the closer range weapons. Limited utility, of course, not going to help as much. That's very aggressive from Poison. He takes down one, but the trades are there instantaneously as ENCE are just sticking together and looking for those one-for-one trades at this point, and they're finding them so far.
Yeah, being able to actually just walk onto this A bomb site there with that kill being found from X7. Chips is looking tempted to try and push through. That's a little bit of a misplay. Even if he does deny the bomb there, it's very likely he's instantly going to get traded. There was over a minute on the clock, so it's not like it would be very impactful by actually stopping it from going down for those extra few seconds. And instead now, of course, it's a position where Windigo have to try and come in for this retake with a disadvantage. I did want to say just a man disadvantage, but Blocker pushing forward also going to be finished off. And with that, Viktor doesn't want anything to do with the remainder of this round. He's just going to begin to back off already. With an M4 in his hands, he does want to just try and carry that over so that they will have some sort of weaponry to work with in this next round, as it likely is just going to have to be the eco to come out.
I like that he's not even going for the AWP. That's down on, well, top mid, long side. And they know that at this point, you know, ENCE are going to know that the op's there. That was one of the only heavy weapons that they had coming into this. So, of course, ENCE are going to be defending it. We've seen quite a bit where maybe there's a more valuable weapon down on short and players do, rather than saving towards CT, they just go in aggressive and they hope no one's there, or they try to take a fight to save the op, and then you can end up in the next round with nothing. I think it's a decision that Windigo had to make there. They make the right one. Sitting over with just that M4, like you said, Dean, they don't have a whole lot to work with. Bubble does buy himself a flashbang.
Yeah, Viktor also has a flashbang, so maybe if they were to go ahead and take a bit of a stack, try and maybe flash in the banana late into the round, that could have been a good idea, but as we can see, of course, that's not what is currently happening. Viktor instead getting aggressive in the apartment scene if he can spot anyone out, but it is just going to be pretty much just the default this time around for ENCE. They've gone ahead and split up across the map. They're waiting for this aggression to come in, and they've gone ahead and also gotten themselves that banana control in the process.
I was wondering why the flashbang there for Bubble flashes over in the second mid in case you guys didn't catch it. So that Viktor could take the peek. This time, no flash for him. He's just going out raw, and he's taken down because there's a crossfire. Again, ENCE sticking together. They're playing that buddy system. They're able to find the trades wherever necessary. There you go. Again, the trade coming in there for Sergei. And that's going to be 1 versus 4. And that's going to be 4 versus 0. As they win out the round, ENCE tie things up 10-10. They've got a solid economy built up on the back of losing very few players for the last 2 rounds. Windigo not in the same position. They're going to fully invest into this round, something that ENCE certainly aren't doing. They've got at least 2 full buys in the back pocket on that T side if they lose this one, whereas Windigo are not in that comfortable of a position. They're going into it with 3 FAMAS weapons. I'm going to avoid using the plural of FAMAS because I've still not found out what it is. And a UMP alongside an M4. Very limited utility as well. They're really on the back foot here.
Yeah, the FAMASs aren't ideal, and as you said, it's really the utility that is going to be a problem. Not having all that many smokes already. The opening kill being found, his ships instantly get taken down. Blocker looking to try and force the issue, but he's low HP, being trapped in towards the sandbags, is still able to make it work for a kill. Viktor going to be able to follow up onto Alu as well. And with that, the trades at least being brought in by Windigo keeps it into 3-on-3. But there is plenty of time. Not going to be a rush for ENCE at this point. If they want, they can go ahead and slow things down, wait and see if anyone on Windigo gets aggressive. As we can see, that is happening. It's actually Blocker and Poison to go ahead and push down Banana. They're getting so much info off the back of this. The question is, are ENCE going to be expecting this? And it seems like the answer is yes, because Alexei B, he's gone ahead and posted up on Banana, gets himself the first kill, but instantly being returned on by Poison. That actually drops the bomb.
50 seconds left on the clock. ENCE have got time to maneuver. Problem is, as they move back to take that bomb, the A bomb site can be reclaimed by the CT side. You can see Poison's just going on the full rotation now, gambling that they're going to take their time. They're going to use their utility going back for that bomb. And now things get very dangerous. Bubble's actually getting aggressive on through that smoke. Finds one. He can't get away, though. Takes out the knife to try and back off. But do they suspect Poison to be here? He's given up bomb control, so Ariel should know that he's rotated around to A. It looks like he has that information, but Poison peeks just in time. Finds the kill and very happy with it. 11 to 10 right now. Windigo have found themselves ahead. But are they going to be able to maintain it? Because ENCE, like we said, have got 2 full buys. This one and one more in the back pocket, and if they find even one of them, Windigo will be back to no money, especially if it's this one, because only Poison survived that last round, which means massive reinvestment to come back out from Windigo. And if they take M4s, they'll have no utility. If they don't take M4s, they're not looking good. They'll have pretty much nothing to work with, because they've only got that 1 AK with util on Poison. So I like that. An M4 picked up, dropped over to Viktor, who exchanges it for an MP9, takes himself some utility. Bubble can do... I can't even do the same. He can't even get armor. So he has to go for the FAMAS.
Did actually get the body armor in the end, so it's not too bad. He's not going to be aim punched or anything.
Yeah, I just meant if he was to take an M4, he couldn't get a body armor.
Yeah. So, of course, was forced down to the FAMAS alongside a couple of his teammates. Or at least his teammates were in the past round, rather. It is going to be his teammates this time around on the SMGs mostly. 2 MP9s in play. Good work by Windigo again. They're using their utility a lot better to actually try and get this banana control, but I think that's actually the second time that we've seen, I think it was Alexei B previously as well, who was able to find that opening kill, just spamming up through the banana smoke. Getting the timing correctly. Perhaps Windigo should wait a couple of extra seconds before they do actually try and move forward off of that smoke towards the bottom of banana. Because, as you can see, so far they are being punished for it.
Yeah, indeed they are. I feel like at this point, ENCE, with that top mid control, have got some pivotal battles. See, they've won out these fights before with Windigo double stacking over towards pit. Smoke down on long. That indicates it's going to be a short push. But ENCE not yet making a move. They're going to allow that smoke to dissipate. So, question is, do they still want to take this to A? It was kind of looking like it could be a split towards B for a minute, but with the bomb in apartments, X7 pushed up close on balcony as well, it looks like they will be aggressing out here.
Yeah, and it is, of course, Viktor who's ready to try and hold things down. I said he was ready, but apparently not enough so, as he is going to be instantly taken down by Alexei B. That puts so much pressure now on the Poison, and I was going to say Bubble in the pit, but make that just Poison. He's completely surrounded. The AK in his hands is only going to be enough for 1 kill. But that is now a 4-on-1. I was going to say, I don't think Blocker realized where he was actually being shot at from, because it was just a player sprinting out of Boiler.
See, that setup works sometimes from ENCE. I don't feel like in that situation it should have. Windigo had a player push down banana, or at least towards the car, so he knows that they're not coming to B just yet. Time is so low, Viktor was holding from the statue, making sure they couldn't come up long. In that situation, that's where Windigo should know, right, well, they're going to push A. They haven't got time to go B. So it is going to be an A hit, and the thing is, they're either going to full push up short, which I think is what Viktor was trying to catch them off, come up behind them as they push for short, or they're going to go and split through long. And with Viktor pushing out there with 20 seconds left, I feel like he should have just rotated over to the A-bomb side and stacked it up as a 3-man.
Yeah, that probably would have been a good idea, just taking the gamble. But the opening kill being found in this round by Poison, at least able to get that D kill down on mid. Gives a 5-on-4 early on for Windigo. Problem is, of course, the weapon isn't going to be retrievable, so it is still just going to be the pistols that they have to try and make things work with. As we can see, ENCE going to be grouping up now on towards Banana. There's a minute remaining, so they do have a bit of time to try and take it elsewhere if they wish to do so, but for now, this does definitely seem to be their target. It's Sergei to try and lead the way. He spots out Blocker already in the spawn, but smoke being put down is going to delay them a little bit further. They still have 1 more as well in the possession of ships, rather, alongside... Oh, actually, they have 2 more alongside a couple of flashes. That other smoke over on the A side of the map now being thrown down. So, a good chance here for Windigo, especially as there's only 40 seconds now remaining. ENCE are going to have to quickly begin to get a move on towards this bomb site, as it seems like A is going to be their target.
Indeed, it appears to be so. Poison is up behind that smoke on long. Oh, gets lit down through it. He's going to be ignored other than that, though, as they push fully towards short. Here's where things get a little bit risky. Bubbles up close there with a 5-7. Flashbang goes in. He's not able to find a kill on the back. Oh, never mind. Eventually he does. And gets even more there. Well, Poison rather gets one. Traded back the window with 3 versus 2. Oh, okay. Ships and Viktor find those kills. Pistols stacked up. The push comes over from short as well. And that is a pretty devastating round to lose there for ENCE. I mean, they're up against the weak weapons. It comes back to what we said earlier about how pistols generally can have that big impact on the CT side. You take a look at ENCE. They've still got the money to get that nice full buy up, and this is where Windigo maybe suffer a little bit more. If they lose this round, I mean, ENCE will propel themselves into the lead. Actually, you can see Ariel's taken out a CZ. He's not able to afford an AK-47. Everybody else, though, sitting on a perfectly comfortable full buy.
Yeah, I guess both teams kind of having some weaknesses. It's the FAMAS as well for Bubble, but not the biggest of deals. Well, let's see, ENCE, if they can manage to find this one, they will completely destroy the economy of Windigo, and of course vice versa, that would be the case. So a very crucial round, especially as you come towards this point in the game. Whoever is able to actually take themselves control of the economy, if either team gets forced down to an eco, that's not really something they can afford at this point. Well, looks like they are just going to try and execute it towards B now. Blocker, the smoke down to try and delay. It's going to be Ships to actually find the first point of contact as he takes down 2 players very quickly. Ariel and Sergei to fall. And with that, it is a 3-on-5. ENCE on the back foot. And it is going to be very difficult for them to try and recover this round now.
It is indeed. As ENCE split up as well. Bomb in Banana, 1 player to A, 1 player to Banana. Alu starts to rotate over to B as well. Okay, so X7 maybe just going to be faking out, but Alexei B is spotted up aggressively. This doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. Poison catches out X7 on long, and it's just a very fragmented T side from ENCE there in that 3 versus 5. They're so spread out. Like, I get it if you're sending 2 to Banana and 1 to A. Maybe you're going to gamble with low time and 3 players left that if they spot 1 player on A, and especially if you find a kill, that the rotations will begin. But Alexei B peeks B, then X7 peeks A, and then Alu, 2 seconds later, peeks B. I don't get it. You're not going to sell a fake in that situation. You're just spreading out your firepower and making sure the trade potential is almost down to 0.
Yeah, pause being called in by ENCE, realizing, of course, at this point that the game, or at least this map, rather, is beginning to slip away from them. Of course, Inferno is the choice of Windigo, so it's not really too surprising. Train will be coming up next as the map choice of ENCE, and if needed, we will have Dust 2 as a decider. 13 to 11, though. This one going to have to be the eco from ENCE, and we should see Windigo being able to reach themselves 14 rounds already. I think at this point, this is where ENCE do begin to worry just a little bit. They're able to get some upgrades, at least into this round. We see some P250s, 3 nades, Kevlar even been found to Alu. And it looks to be a quick Banana play. I think it's taking a strat out of the book of Windigo. And it is actually going to be working very successfully again. They find themselves a couple of kills with the rifles to come in. They find continuous trades. And with only a Glock in his hands currently, Alexei B, he needs to quickly grab himself a weapon if he wants any chance to get something done in this position. And with the AK now in his hands, maybe he has a chance, because there is still a decent amount of time with just over 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining.
No, definitely a chance indeed, as ENCE come out with a very, very convincing pistol round. Even if they lose this, right, 1 versus 2, like they've taken 3 players down. That's more than enough. You've also got that 1v1 on offer, as Windigo try to defend either bomb side, but they don't know which one's going to be targeted. Problems start to develop.
Yeah, that definitely is the problem, but Bubble is at least playing relatively passive, so he's in a position where hopefully he won't get taken down. If he can even just spot Alexei B, allow for the bomb plant to come in and work alongside Poison for the retake, that would be ideal. Doesn't want to give the chance for any one-on-ones to come in and give up openings, and there we go. Eventually been able to spot Alexei, so they should now be aware at least that it is going to be a commitment onto the A-bomb site, especially as the bomb is planted. And now Poison and Bubble are just going to go ahead and regroup and look to try and push in together off the back of this one.
A nice Molotov at least going to delay down a little bit of time. Nice nade as well, but he's taken down by the AWP. Taking them both down to 50 HP, that could have gotten very, very risky for Windigo with the good utility usage from ENCE Alexei B, but nothing to be found. With that situation developing now, 14 to 11. ENCE have got 1 shot. You cannot miss your chance to blow. If this opportunity comes once in a map.
They were going to say once in a lifetime, and I was going to say there's 2 majors a year.
Yeah, that's why I cut that one short. Now 14-11. Look, if ENCE win this, they buy themselves back into things. If they lose, they're on a tattered economy. Oh, that's a good start, Alu.
They'd be working with an even worse buy into this next round, so this is one that they definitely need to pick up just to keep themselves in this map. Nice smoke down early on, at least did deny Ships from being able to find the opening kill, and you can see, of course, Windigo actually pulling out a double op setup this time around. Poison alongside Ships, both very capable oppers, but let's see if they're going to be able to handle ENCE, as it is going to be Sergei to try and lead the charge. Molotov on towards the corner to stop that angle from being held. But as we can see, Ships is playing a different one. He's playing from in behind sandbags. Not a common position for the AWP. And it does actually end up catching Sergei completely off guard, and does the same towards Alexei as he falls. Eventually a missed shot to come in from Ships. But he does at least go ahead and keep it in an advantageous position for Windigo with a 4-on-3.
Ships now just 1 kill away from that 30 bomb. He's been doing really well this half, or this game in general. Poison there comes in with the AWP to avenge his fallen comrade. Fallen opping partner. Oh, but as Viktor gets taken down, I mean, X7's got an opportunity if he can take that kill. Problem is, bomb's in Banana. Even though he's in a 1 versus 2, he's got 12 HP, Banana secured, bomb secured by the CTs, and Poison just goes in with the op to take that kill. 15-11, ENCE have practically no money in their back pocket, as Windigo have got a lot. They're going to be able to get a full buy if they lose this one, giving them basically 2 opportunities and then a 3rd. So there's 3 full buys between ENCE and victory. They've got to take them down 3 times. That's not easy, and it starts here with the most difficult one of them all. 3 SMGs, 2 AKs, and limited utility on some players, with X7 having literally nothing, but Sergei opens it up nicely. That's through a smoke onto Blocker. And that could be what they need. Ships is getting very aggressive as well. He's already pushed all the way down Banana. He spots out Sergei. Spam goes in. So much damage. Re-smokes it, and he'll just get out of there now. He doesn't know that he's done the damage, but he would be happy if he knew. That's Sergei only on 39 HP. Should be an easy pick. ENCE now angling over towards the A-bomb site. Poison's on the up, holding down on long. Not going to find anything just yet as they pincer. Bubble is all alone in pit.
Nice hold from Bubble, able to go ahead and get himself some nice frags. Poison on the op going to be able to chime in from the bomb site as well, and suddenly again it is just going to be Sergei as the AK, and actually has an opportunity to creep up and take down Poison, who is completely unexpected of that. Given a decent chance now. It's actually going to have to be the ace clutch, because Sergei already does have himself 3 kills. Problem is, as we can see, they're wrapping around on short, but this gives him an opportunity now. If he wants to take this through arch, he could head over towards B with this. Instead, though, is going to continue, I guess, to try and favor this A bomb site. The opportunity for a backstab definitely going to be there, but let's see if that's going to be allowed. Viktor creeping forward, the timing for Sergei. It couldn't have been worse, really, there. And it is eventually going to be Windigo going ahead and getting themselves the victory here on Inferno. Was their map choice, so it's not really too surprising. They take a 16-11 in the end. But it's not really the ENCE that we were expecting to see. They were, I guess, a little bit stale. They were being exploited again. Banana, especially on the CT side for ENCE, that was a position that Windigo pretty much every time were able to take for free. Sure, every now and again they took some damage from some nades, etc. But then when they got towards top of Banana, there was just the one-on-one fights that they were able to take and win out.
Yeah, look, in that whole situation, that whole map was just so scrappy. You've got Sergei, I think he finished off on 32 kills, then Ships on 30, so you've got players stepping it up on both sides. But that's such a strong win for Windigo. Last time they played, they won each other's map picks, and the thing was that the next map up Train was actually a really convincing win for ENCE. Thing is, right, so it was 16-4 at the time. That was a different lineup. You didn't have Poison there. And Poison is the player on Train that we've highlighted so much for Windigo. In a lot of maps, he steps it up. Maps like Inferno, he does well. 24, 25 kills there. Not bad. Certainly a good performance. But when you see him on Train, that's where he really thrives. And so coming into this, I don't think ENCE are going to have as easy of a time as they did last time these two teams butted heads, where they took it 16-4. Could be biting my words a little bit later on, but we'll see. I really feel like Windigo, with that map win as well, are looking so good. They've got 2 opportunities to win. They've got Dust 2 and Train, maps that they're very good at, and that Poison generally thrives on. Now things, I think, get even more difficult for ENCE.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I feel like Train is a map that probably does suit them better, but just the fact that Windigo, of course, getting that victory, are going to be coming into Train now with some momentum rolling in their favor and some confidence, etc. But we are going to find out soon, guys. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and as soon as we return, we will have Train coming for you guys.